Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Bullpen Banter. I'm your host, Antonio Sacca, and today I'm joined by Jacob Kortenberg, the Director of Division III Baseball Operations with the NCBA, and once again joined by Eric Curator, the VP of Baseball Operations with the NCBA. How we doing, guys?
Very good. Jacob making his debut.
Indeed, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Nice Pens
welcome,
hat.
Jacob. Well, season is just kicked up this past weekend. We had some games played. I know we've had our top polls out. Both you guys are those, know the ins and outs of the NCBA. Let's start with a little bit of the Division One side. Eric, I know that's kind of more your realm. Run us through, the top poll right now and kind of what you're looking forward to so far.
Yeah, so prior to this weekend, we really had no action at all, to be honest. We had, I think, one series. So this past weekend, we had a lot of games. Our next poll's coming out next Thursday, so I expect a lot of action, a lot of movement. But just to kind of piggyback off the last poll, that was kind of, I guess, exactly the same as the preseason poll. Just recapping that real quick. Penn State, obviously, three-time defending champ up top. Virginia Tech, Creighton also received a first-place vote. Clemson and UC Santa Barbara for the top five. Kind of just a touch, I guess, on some of those teams this past weekend. East Carolina swept Clemson. That's a huge series, non-conference. Clemson, obviously, returning World Series team. I mentioned them in the fourth spot from this past poll. I believe they won Greenville this past fall, and they're looking to make another strong push this year again at the World Series. Getting swept by East Carolina, who I believe was not in the preseason poll for the first time in, I think, 15 years. I think I saw 2010. Don't
That's
take that to the
crazy.
bank, but it's been a long time. So I fully anticipate East Carolina is going to jump into the top 20. Clemson might take a little bit of a dip. Some other results off the top of the noggin real quick. Florida State, I believe, swept Georgia. That's another big series, too, down in the South Atlantic. They are in different conferences. Florida State's in the South. Georgia's in the West. So that could be a preview for something in the regional. Either way, it's good for those guys to get some strong non-conference game series in. Another one real quick. My last one will be Arlington Baptist, World Series team last year, dropped a couple of games to Baylor. No disrespect to Baylor, but I was anticipating on Arlington Baptist, returning World Series team to handle those games easily. But they dropped those two and got a long season left, but just didn't really expect that this early.
That's a lot of upsets early in the season. Two World Series teams dropping games
Yeah.
early, and I mean ECU was ECU. I know they weren't ranked preseason, but I feel like some teams do get that step back of a year, which I feel like ECU had last year, and everyone forgets about them. And then they just did that to Clemson, and they're back on everyone's radar. It's like, oh crap, there's East Carolina doing what East Carolina does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure them and VT, Virginia Tech, they literally alternate years out of that region. VT obviously had a tremendous year last year, runner-up, gave Penn State everything they can handle, along with beating them in the winners bracket initially. So, it'll be a fun year for sure.
For sure. I don't know which one you would rather talk D2, but if you want to talk a little bit about that D2 poll, Eric or Jacob, whichever one you think has a better grasp
Jacob, you
on
can
it.
take the. I have it pulled up. I don't. You want to tag team it real quick?
If you could take it, I don't have it pulled up right now.
Okay. So yeah, so the new one's coming out. What is today? Tuesday. So the new one's coming out this Thursday. And this past weekend was the first real weekend of results. A lot of action played. So I expect a lot more movement in this upcoming poll. But for the preseason poll purposes, excuse me, Bryant was up top, returning World Series team. We had him on the show earlier this year. They're looking to repeat and some after last year's performance. So shout out to those guys. They got five first place votes in the one spot. Emory Riddle's in the two spot, another returning World Series team. Brockport, Antonio, maybe you can touch on them. They came out of nowhere. Five first place votes. Had a really strong fall season.
Yeah, they were used to be a Division One team playing in that North Atlantic. Came down to D2 last year. I mean, they had a solid year, and they're a solid team. I've seen them in Panama City Beach a couple times. So I've seen them play ball. They're there. They bring that energy. And then starting this fall, 8-1 is extremely impressive by them. And that conference, I feel like it's always wide open. It's been Cortland before. It's been Syracuse up there. It's been like with them coming in now. Siena, I believe, is in that conference as well. It should be pretty wide open, but they do have the stranglehold at 8-1, and I'm excited to see what they could do the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's a fun story. I love seeing new teams atop the standings, a little parity, if you will. Followed in the fourth spot by Maryland, Santa Clara in the five spot. They were just showcased in our series showcase, or highlighted in the series showcase. Good for those guys. But yeah, not a whole lot of movement early on. Expect a lot more after this weekend with another weekend of a full slate of games. So we can turn the page right over to D3, Mr. Jacob.
Perfect. On the D3 side, we've not actually gotten conference play started yet. We had some weather last weekend, so Charleston versus Wake Forest that ended up getting moved back. But this weekend coming up on the docket, we have Davidson versus Furman, Duke at Wake Forest, Mary Washington at Richmond, New York at Catholic, kind of just to kick everything off, and then everything should be going in full swing from there. Top 10 wise, we had Sacred Heart, new team. They're obviously in D2. They started a second team this year, and they got all 5 first place votes for D3. So they came out hot. They're the front runner, just started out. Then at 2-8 Adrian, they're another new team, obviously in D1, started their second team, starting out in the 2 spot. Then Robert Morris was the World Series runner-up last year, rounding out that 3 spot. So those were really the main 3 teams to look at this year.
And really, the big thing to note, I guess, by the time this comes out, the next set of D2 and D3 will be out. So, kind of what we're talking about here might be irrelevant at that time. But yeah, new polls coming out Thursday. What is that? Thursday the 12th. So, be on the lookout. New D2, new D3, and then D1 will be the following week from there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with Sacred Heart. Like you said, they had that second team, and like that's their first year of it. So a lot of teams they struggle with, maybe not struggle is the word, but how do I split the team? If there's like I believe you've said in the past, like, there's a learning curve to, starting up 2 teams. It's, do I want to balance them completely? Do I want to make it like, not JV varsity, but my D3 team feeds into my D2 team, or do I want to have 2 equally as like powerful teams? So Sacred Heart being at the top of D3 is interesting. We'll see if their D2 team, I believe they're at the top of their conference right now. Had a couple wins against Marist, who usually wins that conference that they've joined in D2. So interested to see what Sacred Heart can do the rest of the way.
Yeah, season's underway. It's crazy.
Long season ahead. Long season.
Yeah, long season ahead, but it'll be here before you know it. Or excuse me, season will be here before you know it.
I appreciate you guys kind of running us through what's gone on so far this year. Our next thing we want to do is bring on we have 4 guest callers, actually, all from University of Tennessee. We got Mason, Will, Christian, and Nolan all going to join us. I'm going to get them on with us right now. How we doing, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Bunch of familiar faces. So, I personally obviously know all you, worked with you guys a lot. I want all you guys kind of just to walk me through how you guys found out about Tennessee club baseball. What drew you guys there?
I guess I'll go first. I mean, I kind of just got introduced to it by a friend that I knew that was on faculty at the university. So when I, decided to go to Tennessee, he kind of just like pushed me in that direction because obviously he had known I'd played baseball at a good level in high school, and it's just kind of like, hey, you should check it out. And then from there, it was kind of just showed up on the first day, and yeah, just been playing ever since.
Yeah, kind of like the same reason for Nolan there. My older brother, he actually played club hockey, so that's how I learned about the whole club sports kind of world. But ever since I joined, obviously I've loved baseball playing up, growing up and stuff. But ever since I joined, it was definitely the best decision I made.
Yeah, my freshman year, I knew about club baseball, but I decided not to do it. Kind of take a year off after high school, but after freshman year, I was just missing it a lot. Missing being out on the field. Figured why not go out there, and really glad I did. Made a lot of new friends and get to compete again at pretty high level. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a different story. I transferred. I played D3 baseball my freshman year, and I transferred here to Tennessee. And I found out about it through an older kid that I was friends with. And he said, "You played college baseball, you should come out. They take it pretty seriously here." And ever since then, it's been the best decision I made.
That's awesome. I like that you can, you 3, Nolan, Mason, will all kind of have similar stories, and then having that D3 transfer come in. I know a lot of club teams, especially the bigger schools, get a lot of those transfer players. So it's cool to see you guys, you have the path where, you kind of showed up at school and we're going to join, and then you have the path where guys that played somewhere else transferred in. But Jacob, you got it. I know we talked a little bit before this. You have a couple questions for them if you want to lead up with one or two.
Yeah, for sure. So I went to IU. We always played against you guys down in Panama City Beach. One thing that really stuck out to me was your guys' culture that you guys built. Like compared to the varsity team, you guys are pretty close. You guys are scrappy. You guys have a lot of grit. What really like led you guys into that culture? Was that just kind of seeing what the varsity team does, then following up behind, or did you guys come in right at the beginning and decide, hey, this is how it's going to be?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, I think Mason would probably be the best guy to attest to this too, is kind of that was kind of how it was when we got here. The group, I think, kind of took that from the varsity team of let's be loud and let's try to get it under everybody's skin and be a rambunctious group. And obviously the team wasn't as good back then, but that's kind of what set them apart and kept them in games a lot of times. And I think me and Mason have just kind of try to continue that our 4 years of even though we've gotten better, we don't want to abandon, that culture that kind of brings us tighter as a group. And we want to be, a group that, is loud, wants to have fun and you know, just kind of get it going with energy is kind of like our biggest thing.
Yeah, baseball is just such a momentum sport, so I'm a believer in whatever team has the most energy, everyone's involved in the game stuff. That team's probably going to be better and going to win the game. So we kind of preach that mode, like just preaching the energy, getting guys up, and it's just been there ever since I've joined. Like Nolan said, it probably does come from the varsity program, but it's probably also just a bunch of guys just playing club baseball, so trying to have some fun with it. So yeah.
Definitely. I can attest. You guys have been in PCB with me. You've been in Greenville with me. I'm sure you've seen my face enough times coming over. Hey guys, I know we're having fun, but I'm gonna take it down a little bit. But it's fun. You guys keep it light usually. I mean, so I enjoy watching you guys play with like Jacob said with like the grittiness and like you said, you guys are a quality squad right now. Obviously, no last year you made regionals and went on from there. But having that tenacity and loudness is always fun too. Well,
Actually,
we got
oh, good.
another thing for you. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, let's hit the rewind button for 1 second. Let's talk about last year real quick, just to give some guys some context, the viewers. I'm working off your team preview here. So, you guys listed 25 last year, regional runner up. This year, 21 returning guys. You got a couple returning All Americans, a handful All Region guys. What do you take from last year that, to move forward to this year to, get over the hump? Because, hell of a year last year, but obviously you just came up short of the Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was just obviously we brought back pretty much everybody from last year, only missing, two to three, kind of key pieces. I think it's just continuing what we had last year, obviously our best year. And like me and Mason were saying, just continuing that, the culture that we have, and then just coming closer a little bit as a group, and just continuing to get better. I think that's been the biggest thing for us is our mindset of, yeah, we've accomplished a lot of good things, but our end goal and what we truly want to get to, we haven't gotten to yet. And I think even last year, when we were playing, and I think going into the later half of the season was kind of something that we were preaching was we were sitting at 15-1. Obviously had like 10 ranked wins, had beaten Penn State. Like we were pretty kind of riding the high horse, but we kind of had to, come back down to earth and be like, hey, like we're just halfway done with the season. Like we got to stay locked in. And I think that, we took that to heart and a lot of the guys bought in even more at that point. And I think just trying to continue that into this year is just the biggest thing. And I think the guys have responded well for the most part, especially so far in the spring. It's been good to see for sure.
Now, is there a big difference with you guys? Obviously you've had good years in the past, but coming off this past year, maybe more of a target on your back. More of a recognition amongst the league. The South Atlantic, I always say, is one of the deepest regions probably in the NCBA. There's depth for days with the teams down south and, the big SEC schools. Is it going to be a different mindset this year, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same mindset of we still know where we want to go, and our expectation is kind of the same of getting to Alton and winning the national championship. And also, I think our thing too is just taking the recognition we get and just saying like, don't let that kind of get in our heads, but kind of use it to be like, hey, like we should be better than them, and we know that we're better than a lot of teams, but we can't play down to other teams, and we got to stick to who we are and just let our firepower just go every game and not take it easy on anybody. Because I think that was kind of some things we did last year were kind of lightening it up on some games, or we're up big, so we kind of lose focus. I think it's just keeping the foot on the pedal the entire time is just the biggest thing. I think another thing was usually, and it's pretty common for all club teams, but a lot of guys coming in and out every year. But I think that's one thing that separated this year's team for us is that we're returning pretty much everybody that had an impact and played last year, and then the amount of talent we're bringing in too in the new class, it's kind of just we just have an overload of talent right now. So it's been good to compete within each other, just going all the way back to August and then up until now. So I think it's really prepared us to for whatever gets thrown at us in the spring.
Yeah, kind of adding on to that targeting your back comment you made there, Eric. I mean, with the number that we have next to us right now, it's going to be no secret that we're going to probably face most of every team's number one arm and face their best eye on the field. So, I mean, there probably is going to be kind of a target on our back because teams are going to want to beat us and say that they beat Tennessee. So we just have to use that as motivation and be ready to face every team's best arm and best hitters.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, you made a perfect point. So now when you guys go down to PCB or you guys play non-conference games, you're going to get everybody's best. I know Tennessee, regional runner-up, just came up short with Clemson obviously last year, but targets on your back. So it's going to be a little bit of a different ride, but an exciting ride nonetheless for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, building off of, that regional appearance last year, what would you say right now is the biggest difference from last year's team to this year's team that you think could help you guys get over that hump?
Um, I'll hop in here, and I think a really key difference is the freshmen that we have brought in. We have a very talented freshman class, and not to say that the freshmen last year weren't, but right now, like Nolan said, we kind of have an overflow of talent on the team. Um, we're at a point where we're honestly struggling to figure out where everybody's going to play because we need to get more and more kids at bats. I just think the fact that we have so many people ready to step up if their name is called, I think that's going to be a big difference this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was about to say we have a lot of depth this year, especially with young guys and transfers. And there's going to be a lot of new faces that come in and out of the lineup. It's not really just going to be one set lineup. We're going to get a lot of people mixed in there.
Yeah, also, as for us for the officers, last year Noel and I were on the officers and it was our first times as being officers. So kind of just like managing games also and kind of playing the schedule and stuff with who you might be facing in certain matchups. I think us having the experience last year, I think we'll be able to build on that and kind of just have an advantage matchup wise with what works best with our guys and what we expect to face on other teams. So I think that will also be a big help.
Yeah, it's just rounding it. It's just kind of like the back again to the whole talent thing. It's just we had a lot of guys, young guys playing for us last year too. Obviously we had like even Will, his first year playing club baseball. Probably like half of our lineup and half our pitching staff were first year guys. So obviously we're bringing back all those guys, deep senior class, and obviously, like we've already said, we ton of freshmen that are just have showed up and showed us a lot, and then also, 3 to 4 transfers from coming from playing D2, D3, and JUCO ball. We're just insanely deep, and compared to last year, it's just like we've kind of been saying, just an overflow of guys in depth, which obviously, as everybody knows in club baseball, once you get to regionals, that's kind of the biggest thing, and that's what wins regions.
For sure. And I know, kind of speaking to that depth, with you guys splitting your team down in Greenville, and you guys, both teams seem to be competitive either way. And the competition down in Greenville was strong. And I feel like every year at that fall tournament's a strong competition. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for, to see, hopefully you guys make that run. What we're going to do now is move on. We got another segment. It's called Three Strikes Are Out. We have a wheel that has a bunch of different topics on it that we spin. And whatever it lands on, there's a bunch of different ones we'll have. If all four you want to take a shot at the answer, or if only a couple you want to do it, we could do that. So I'm going to get that up on the screen. So there's our wheel there. You can see all the different topics. And here's the first spin. So Little League versus the show. What this is I want you guys to tell us the best field that you guys have played on at the club level and the worst field that you've played on at the club level. So if you guys, most of you guys have probably played together for the last couple of years, so it's probably going to be the same fields, but
Yeah.
whoever wants to take the lead could go ahead.
I mean, I think we can probably all agree on the best one was probably Vanderbilt last year.
Yeah.
That's
That was a
it.
really cool experience.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Vanderbilt's kind of unanimous there. The worst field, I mean, I think it's like there's two possibilities. One would be Coastal Carolina my sophomore year, which Mason and Christian were at, was
Hmm.
it was like just a complete mud. Like it was really bad, and no fault to them because I think it was like their backup field that they used for like throwaways, and it just we happened to be there on a weekend where we had to use it. But either that or um, Kennesaw State because they didn't even have like a pitching mound, and also the fences are like 260 and 300, so it's like you're playing on like a 13U field with no pitching, like on a flat ground. So it's kind of
It's a
one of
pitcher's
those
dream.
two. I think
As
that,
a hitter, I really enjoyed that field. I can't speak for Nolan with the
I
pitching
was going to say
mound,
Nolan
but it
probably
was
hated
fun.
it.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a fun weekend with that like 260-foot fence. That was great.
I'm guessing a bunch of home runs, huh?
Oh yeah.
We had quite a few. Yeah. So did
Nolan
that.
tried to
But
stay as far away from the mound that game as possible.
No, I didn't do too bad. I was lucky I didn't give up a home run. I was one of the only guys that didn't give up one, so I got lucky.
I
Leave
don't
it
know
to you.
if I heard this correct, but I know a kid on their team had their first hit, and it was a home run on that field. Like he'd never gotten a hit in club baseball, and he hit a home run that weekend.
Got to get him on the pod. Shout out to him.
That's insane.
I think that's what I heard from their dugout.
I remember hearing something like that when we were down there. Yeah.
That'll make
That's
a pitcher
wild.
feel good. Yeah.
But all right, guys, we're gonna move on to the second strike here. So we're gonna get that second wheel spin going. Oh, it's gonna do the same thing. We're
Oh,
not doing that again.
No.
So this is drip. What it is just nicest uniforms that you guys have seen. Whether I know you guys have some really nice uniforms, but let's not go with your uniforms. Nicest uniforms you've seen another team have.
Kind of like,
JMU this fall had pretty nice uniforms. The pin
yeah, they
shade.
did.
Also,
Yeah.
I like Coastal's like teal. Just I think the teal looks nice. When we played them. Um,
I'd have to vote JMU too this fall. I did. I like the purple. Purple
Is it the
gold.
pinstripes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
saw
forgot
those
about the
online. They're
pinstripes.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
really
They're
nice.
nice.
good.
I also liked FSU's blacks that we saw in regionals last year.
Those are
Mhm.
pretty sweet. Yeah.
Are they all black? I can't. I feel like I've seen them just from them being at the World Series in the past, but I don't know if they've had black pants or they had.
I think it was black on white pants.
Makes sense.
Auburn had they had some pretty good ones, but I think if I'm correct, I think they had like the old varsity jerseys. So I don't know if we're counting that, but
We'll count
Auburn,
those too.
yeah, Auburn's were like the classic like white and orange, and they're pretty good.
I love that. But all right, guys, we're gonna do the last wheel spin here. So let's see what we get. So this is core memories, kind of your favorite playing memories from the club team. I know you guys are all upperclassmen, so you probably have a lot, but if each one of you had to pick your favorite memory from playing the last couple years, what would it be?
I guess I'll start. I think my favorite memory, I came back from a pretty serious injury, so I think just like my first at bat back or I guess with my second at bat back, I got a RBI single. So it's meant a lot to me to come back from injury and get a run for my team, and all my teammates were pretty pretty pumped up for me. So that's my favorite.
If you don't mind, what was that injury? If you want to talk,
I, I,
if
to-
you'd,
yeah, I tore my ACL, but
oh God,
yeah. So
yeah, that ain't fun.
no.
Um, I think for me, my favorite memory, honestly, is my first game in club baseball. Um, just kind of taking that year off and coming back and being able to compete with people that I just had grown to become really good friends with. I just, I don't know, it felt so good to be back. Kind of like along the same line as Mason. It's just feels good to get back out there on the field once you've been off for a while. So just going out there and having a good time.
I think mine's got to be that when we actually played Kennesaw that weekend, we went there. And I think that was a weekend like we kind of all came together last year and realized like, okay, we're actually really good. Like we can make a run for this thing.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna go with Vander. I was gonna say Penn State that weekend just because we had a lot of people in town, but I'll go Vanderbilt weekend because I think that was just like overall like an awesome weekend. Obviously like I got to play and like my like I had family there, which was awesome. But also just like spending that whole weekend, like we got there Friday and Saturday ended up not playing games, so we kind of just had like a whole day and a half in Nashville, like as a group towards the end of the season. And we already had clinched regional. So it's kind of just like a weekend where we got to like really kind of like kick back and obviously just enjoy what we've done so far and just kind of again just continue to grow as a group. And it was definitely a top weekend for sure.
Yeah, Nashville's not a bad spot to have a day and a half to do whatever you want.
No,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not.
it's not.
Obviously, you guys went there for baseball, but you got that. I'm gonna assume a little party aspect into it as well.
Yeah.
Only a
100%.
little.
We were on Broadway, yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, that was three strikes. You're out. That was our with the wheel spins and all. The last thing I want to let you guys do is plug your program. What we're gonna do here is kind of tell people where they can follow you on socials, how they find out about Tennessee Club Baseball, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, all of our socials are just Club Vols, so CLUBVOLS. Yeah, it's just really competitive group that, wants to win baseball games, but it's also a tight group that has given me and a lot of other people like, their best friends in college. And, when you're coming to a school like Tennessee, it's hard to find people, especially a small, medium-sized group, that you can call, brothers and be lifelong friends with. So very beneficial and everything's always out there on social media for us, and we always enjoy seeing new people and getting to know everybody every year.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate all four of you coming on, and just want to wish you the best of luck this season. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
No
guys.
problem, guys.
Good luck.
See you.
Thank you.
Guys.
See you guys. See ya.
Yeah.
That was a couple guys from UTK. They were fun to have on, and I'm glad they joined us today for the pod. So moving on from that, we just want to do some last minute housekeeping items, whether Eric or Jacob, whichever one of you want to take it over. Just what do NCBA teams need to be on the lookout for with the season, swiftly approaching and upon us.
Oh, you, sir, go for it.
Perfect. Yeah. So right now it's really just getting your rosters in, getting those academic forms filled out and sent into your academic offices. With the games firing up, we are focusing a lot on the weekly submission forms. Those need to be submitted weekly to make sure that we know what's going on. We can get everything updated on the website. Make sure that you're staying up to date with the playoff information on all of our different sites, whether you're D1, D2, D3. And then coming up, end of this month, we're coming up to Panama City beach season. Swing the Spring's going to be starting up, and then on to the regular season from there.
That is wild. You guys leave in like 2 weeks, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
February 27th, I'll be headed down there, and I'll be there until March 21st. So leaving the
No.
Pittsburgh cold for the Panama City warmth. Don't want to rub it in too much. Sorry, guys.
Beautiful.
It's 50 degrees out here in Ohio today, for the record. Okay,
Pittsburgh too, which is shocking with how cold it's been.
it's going to snow tomorrow though, so we can change it to something.
Of course. But all right, guys, that was episode 4 of Bullpen Banner. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching our pod. And don't forget, it's a game. Have fun.
I'm in my prime, I'm feeling like Steph. Waited too long, but I told him I'm next. I need my bag, just brought me the check. Cable was mine, I ain't taking less.
Dingers, bombs, taters, nukes, icon.